In this video, we're going to talk about how to take derivatives using the quotient rule. So we have our quotient rule written out right here. It says if f and g are differentiable, then the derivative of f of x divided by g of x, notice I'm dividing those two functions, equals this big thing on the right. So if we look at it a little bit more closely, notice that you have your denominator, I have my g of x, times the derivative of the numerator minus my numerator times the derivative of the denominator over the denominator squared. Now a way to memorize this is we say low d high minus high d low, and then we say square the bottom and off you go. So just a little thing to help you remember it, but low represents the denominator, high represents the numerator, this d represents derivative. So I have my low times my d high minus my high times my d low, derivative of the bottom, square the bottom, and off you go, and it rhymes. So it's a nice way to help you memorize this, if that helps. So let's go through a few examples. So starting with number 1, your numerator is this x squared plus x minus 2. Our function in our denominator is x cubed plus 6. So when I take my derivative, I'm going to do low, so x cubed plus 6, d high, so derivative of the numerator, that's 2x plus 1, minus high, my numerator is x squared plus x minus 2, d low, I'm taking the derivative of the denominator, 3x squared, square the bottom, and off you go, so x cubed plus 6 squared. That's us using that formula. From here, we want to simplify, so it's going to be some algebra in that numerator for sure. So multiply all of this out. And then I'm going to have minus 3x to the 4th minus 3x cubed plus 6x squared. And then I'm not going to multiply out the denominator. I'm just going to leave it. Combine like terms in our numerator. Negative x to the 4th minus 2x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 6 over that denominator. And there is our derivative. First derivative using the quotient rule. Let's do some more examples. So here's our second one. I'm going to do low d high, so my low x squared minus 1. D high, my derivative of the numerator is 4, minus high, 4x minus 2. D low, derivative of the denominator is 2x. Square the bottom, and off we go. So there's my first step, and then from there we are simplifying. So I'm distributing the 4, distributing the negative 2x, I'm not going to multiply out my denominator. Combine like terms, 4x squared minus 8x squared. Oops, let's write that a little bit nicer. And that is our second example. We have a few more. Number 3 is a derivative. We want to take the derivative of tangent of x. Now, this is a derivative that you can memorize, and we actually recommend that you do memorize it. But for this video, let's say that you don't remember the derivative of tangent. But we should know that tangent equals sine of x over cosine of x. And it is a lot easier. Most students have derivative of sine and cosine memorized. So we are going to operate on that idea. And then just in case we need it, derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. Derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. So let's use those two derivatives to figure out the derivative of tangent of x. So I'm going to say, we changed our notation. So f prime of x, and I'm using this sine over cosine. So I'm going to say low, so cosine of x, d high, derivative of sine is cosine of x, minus high, sine of x, d low, derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x, square the bottom, and off we go. Simplify from there, cosine times cosine, that's going to be cosine squared x. My negatives cancel, I get plus sine squared x over, this is cosine squared x. And then we should have the Pythagorean identity memorized. We should know that sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. So this is the same thing as 1 over cosine squared x. And we should know that 1 over cosine is secant of x. So this is secant squared x. So that means that the derivative of tangent of x is secant squared x. We have one more example. This example combines the product rule and the quotient rule. If you need the product rule video, I do have that linked in the description. So go watch that product rule video first and then come back to this. But notice I am dividing. My numerator function is x sine of x. My denominator function is x plus 1. But in the numerator, this is x times sine of x. So I'm also multiplying functions in the numerator. So let's go through this derivative. I'm going to do low, so x plus 1. Now I'm going to do d high, and keep in mind that d high is going to be my product rule. So I'm going to take the derivative of the first function, x. Derivative of x is 1. Keep the second function, I'm keeping sine of x, plus keep the first function, x. Derivative of the second function, derivative of sine of x, is cosine of x. So that was my product rule. Now keep in mind this was low d high, so I need to finish this, minus high d low, the derivative of x plus 1 is just 1. Square the bottom, and off we go. So a little bit more complicated there. Let's do our simplifying. I'm going to multiply this binomial with this binomial. We get x sine of x plus x squared cosine of x plus sine of x plus x cosine of x minus x sine of x all over our x plus 1 squared. Notice that your x sines of x's cancel. I have x squared cosine of x plus sine of x plus x cosine of x all over that x plus 1 squared. And that is that last derivative. So these are a few quotient rule examples. Thank you for watching this video.